Arthur Cursbeard, also known as King Arthur, was one of the most powerful and greedy wizards of old, being extremely powerful and spoon-fed so much plot armor that he managed to defeat Prometheus. At the time after surpassing Prometheus, Prometheus the god who created magic in the first place, be defeated by his own magic, that's rough. There is nothing known about his early life as a teenager, or when he was born, because that's irrelevant. We just want to see a big man destroy things. One day, Arthur found out Prometheus was holding back the true power of magic, so he took the magic belt and started sailing over to Prometheus' home at Mount Olympus to declare war. The war lasted over 100 years and forced Prometheus to create the sea curses. In secret, he also made the Grand Fire Curses, hoping that the human would one day defeat Arthur Cursbeard. Later on, when Acheron destroyed 80% of humanity and turned the world into mostly ocean, Arthur would create the infamous one-shot pirates, somewhere around year 1500 in the sea cluster known as the Old Sea. They mainly sought after curses. One such curse was the Magma Curse, which was stolen by one of their own, Tringo. The young pirate was booted out of the crew and left stranded to die on an island. Lucky, due to his Magma Curse, he was able to create an obsidian path and return to civilization. Around 100 years after the one-shot pirates were created, Arthur and his crew shifted to the Seven Sea Cluster, where they would hunt after the Borealis, a giant merchant ship that holds a lot of treasure. Being the pirates that they are, of course, they found it, and after a long battle, one-shot pirates won and took over Borealis, eventually being called the Borealis Shipwreck, when it eventually became a giant ship that fronts Arthur through a bunch of other stores. Using the wealth, Arthur Cursbeard created the Kingdom of Valeria, a island empire mainly set in the Third Sea. Afterwards, he essentially retired. During the events of Arcane Adventures, Arthur set out to run the Fade against Urza for disrupting the balance of the world with all of his commanders, except for Arsene. Why didn't he take Arsene, although his power level is in the millions? Who knows, but he didn't take him. He ventured out to the Seventh Sea and partook in a long war of attrition against Urza and his army. Eventually in the war, he perished on an unnamed island in the Seventh Sea, after being assaulted by a legion of undead and having to kill his right-hand man Poseidon, the god of the sea. Afterwards, his will to keep moving on seemingly endless sea of undead, he accepted defeat, getting dealt a fatal blow by undead Zeus, who revived. That is the lore of Arthur Cursbeard for what I can find, and to be frank, there isn't much. If you enjoyed, you can subscribe. I'll be on the way, including the captains of the cannon groups that roll around the seven seas. Have a good one. Peace.